the things we did there apply to the national level, and if they do not apply exactly, then we will didiskartehin Pinoy natin yan at hahanapin natin kung paano gawin para it applies in the national level.
Your grandmother was also a librarian, if I'm not mistaken.
She was a teacher.
Teacher, yeah. And what then, in that regard, is your stance or legislative agenda in terms of education?
Well, very simple. We have to strengthen the educational system because in recent years, the budget of the out of the national budget, 50% used to be spent on the educational system, on supporting the teachers, on building schoolrooms, on providing textbooks, all of those normal. The past years, our budget for education as a percentage of the national budget has continued to decrease. Whereas before, umabot na tayo sa 50%. Now, we were averaging rather 50%. Now, it is 16%. And it is very clear the effects of that lack of interest and attention that national government has given to education. And so, at the time when we were spending half of our money on education, we were the most literate country in Asia. We were the best English speakers in Asia. We were the best trained workforce in Asia. We had the best educational system in Asia. We no longer have that. We cannot say the literacy rate is exceptional. In fact, it's rather poor. We cannot say that we have enough. We don't even have enough school buildings. We don't have enough teachers. In the province, you ask for 35 items na bagong teacher. They'll give you 3, 4. If you're malakas, 6. And that's simply not enough because the population is growing. We don't have enough schoolrooms. Pati textbook, may scam. Pinapakialaman pati textbook at pinagkikitaan. So with that kind of attitudes towards education, it's immediately wrong. And the first thing I think that we need to do is to, well, in a way, you have to start building more the infrastructure. You have to build more schoolrooms. You have to have a better system of supporting the teachers. You have to have a better system for procuring school supplies, for putting together the material that it would be better quality for the students. And although that sounds simple, it's a massive endeavor because like you say, if you say, oh, itaas natin ang sweldo ng mga teacher na 5 piso. 5 piso lang times 500,000 kaagad yan. So the system is a large one. So even little changes will have a big effect. And it's simply kulang ang ginagastos natin, which is ridiculous because it is clear to me, anyway, apparently it's not clear to this administration, but it is clear to me that education is the most important service that the government provides its citizens. It simply is. And we are not doing that. This government no longer provides that service. 16% of our national budget, we don't have, anong shortfall. Now, anong nangyayari? That's why ako talagang champion, talagang pinaglalaban ko local government. Look at the initiatives. We have cities now that own universities. We have cities now that put up their own schools, that hire their own teachers. Why? Because national government's not doing its job. And this is another example of why I ran. Because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They are not helping the situation of ordinary Filipinos on the ground, at the ground level. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not doing their job. And education is a primary example of why national government has neglected its duties as a government. And so again, it will be to a more direct answer to your question. First, we need to support the teachers, give them more benefits. We have to give their children more scholarships. We have to make sure that they get paid on time. Although I must say that I think the new system of Secretary Lapus has begun to kick in, and that problem is beginning to be solved. We need to build more schoolrooms. We have to train more teachers. We have to train what teachers we have to train them better. Because they didn't. I remember a few years ago they gave the teacher one of the exams for the students, and she failed it. So that's not a good situation. So it's really basics na naman yan eh. Wala namang bago diyan eh. Wala namang bago diyan eh. So we just that is my view that we have to, and it will take money. So we'll have to have the political will to take more of the budget, of the national budget, and direct it towards our school system.
We do support, for example, an increase in the number of years in college or because right now, with the Bologna Treaty, most of the people who graduate from college are actually underqualified, so they have to take an extra year or so.
I think if the quality of the education is improved, you won't need the extra year. You won't need the extra 2 years. If the teachers are well trained, if the facilities are sufficient, if the school supplies, if the equipment that's available to the schools is sufficient, then they will be qualified when they graduate. In the first place, why are they graduating them when they're not qualified? It's just to make statistics at masabi lang na nag-graduate kami ng ilang tao. But that's a fiction. That's an administrative fiction. You have legal fiction. This is an administrative fiction. So let's not believe in these fictions that the bureaucracy has started to invoke.
June 1st. And then next.
Okay.
Pass me.
I'd like to ask something about the monetary policy of the national government.
Okay.
During the time of President Marcos, you will recall that we were in a better off position so far as the national budget, national indebtedness is concerned. We had good purchasing power, and our coinage was very respectable.
Yeah.
Just see the peso, just see the 2 peso coins, and look where it is now, and look how much national debt is now. 4 trillion from the time of your father. There's something wrong with the monetary policy because the issuance of our currency does not seem to be controlled by the Philippine government. And I think this is one of the reasons why your father was conspired against because he resisted that.
Well,
my question now is, as senator, how would you address the national
Well, the problem with the debt, with our national debt, is already present. You cannot have asked them to condone that debt and to just simply say that we will stop paying the debt servicing. Will put us in a very poor situation. Should we need to incur more borrowing? The problem is not only the level of debt that we are suffering under, but what that money that we borrow is used for. It's all right if you borrow money, so long as that money is used in a way that will provide some kind of advantage to the society. Maybe not monetary, but at least you have better health, you have better education. But in the end, all of these things are quantifiable. So if what money you borrow is used properly, then that's all right. There's really nothing wrong with that. But the way that the things that we see now, the borrowings are incurred only to cover up mismanagement in government because they weren't able to do the job that needed to be done with a certain amount of money that was available. And it is the easy answer, and they don't like to talk about it. I mean, every single sauna I sit there and I listen to how wonderfully well our economy is going. And I look and I leave the Batasan building and I look out down the road and I see we're not doing well. I don't know